Welcome back to episode 62 of Doodling with Purpose, and as you saw, we're going to talk about pronouns today. Now, pronouns in ancient Egyptian are not exactly like the way they behave in English, where you have one pronoun that can work for both different types of genders, different types of plurals or singular, as well as different situations. Ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics is a little bit more like Arabic or Hebrew, where there are different pronouns, such as suffix pronouns, dependent pronouns, and independent pronouns. We're going to start off with the suffix pronouns because that's kind of the simplest, meaning someone's something, his margarita, her margarita. So let's talk about that, and before though, I want to quickly remind everyone about plurals because this is going to come into play. So the most difficult hieroglyph of them all, of every glyph, is the stroke, one stroke. Or if you want to do plural, three strokes, right? This one's incredibly difficult to draw. You may need several months before you can do this one. So if we were going to draw the glyph for land and put one stroke under it, it would be land, one land. And if we were going to do the same glyph for land and then do three strokes, it becomes lands. Same thing with a house. You can have one house by drawing the glyph for house, which is pronounced per, and having one stroke. That means one house, a singular. And you also know that makes it per. Or you can have two houses, and using the same glyph for per, put three strokes, and now you have houses. Pretty simple, but something that's fundamental to understanding how hieroglyphics work. And of course, it also works for things that can have a symbol, a determinative that means it, like fish. So one fish or multiple fish. Fishes, fishim. Well, fish is one of those words like sheep. One fish, two fish, red fish, many fish. It gets confusing. But the word for fish, ram, R-M, mouth, owl, can also be used for fish. So fish can be both the determinative fish, which is actually IR, or ram with fish at the end as a determinative. Yes, I know it's a little confusing because there's multiple ways of writing the same thing. So here you have one fish with the stroke under the determinative after ram, and now three strokes under the fish for ram. All four of these are all ways to write fish or fishes, not fishes, but multiple fish. Probably should have chosen a word that actually has a different meaning in the plural. So it's a little confusing, but after studying it, it'll make sense. All right, so let's talk about a word we know, Bach, B-A and then K, B-A being the cornet and then K being the basket with a handle. So let's say we have one single servant, right? So, or rather, and now this one single servant is his servant. So we're going to put the glyph for his, which is the F glyph. This makes it his servant, or servant his. Now if we put the glyph for I, which is the single man there, now it becomes my servant. The same glyph for my can also mean I or mine. It's just going to be based on context how you're going to pronounce it. So by using this glyph, it's my servant. Now, if you want to say it's your servant, you use the suffix pronoun for you, which is also the basket with the handle. So you kind of use that twice because servant has that. All right, now what if your servant is female? What if you don't have a male servant? What if you have a female servant? Well, then you're going to use you in the feminine form, which is the t or z, which is the tie. So that's going to make it your servant, but it's going to be a female. What if you have multiple servants, male and female, or two male, two female? Then you're going to use the plural, which is the tie with the N and then three strokes under it. This is the suffix pronoun for your plural. So you have three types of you. You masculine, you feminine, and you plural. You masculine is just known as you. It can also, of course, be her servant. The pronoun for her is the folded bolt of cloth, which would be pronounced S. So putting that after the word for servant makes it her servant. Of course, I'm lining these up vertically, just for example. And you can do our servant, which would be the suffix for we, which is the N, the water sign, with three strokes under it. This is we, or our servant, if it's going to be after a noun. And then finally, their servant, which would be the bolt of cloth, the N for water, and then 3 strokes. So this is the suffix pronoun they, so their servant. And now the whole group comes together and can have a servant to serve all of them, or, try to murder them if it's Clue the movie. Either way, you understand now a little bit about how suffix pronouns work. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll always answer. And give this video a like or a subscription because it tells YouTube to share it with more people. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned next week for more Doodling with Purpose.